The first of two podcasts this week. Kyle Schassburger and David Kahn with you. Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. Thank you for joining us live. If you are with us on YouTube, helping to grow the channel, go ahead and share that here on College Sports Now, wherever you get your podcasts for the OG folks. We're here with 9 weekends in the books and 5 remaining, David Kahn. There was a moment where I thought I would be hosting this podcast with somebody from a bunker in a third world country or somebody's basement, as I hear you were able to narrowly avoid your identity being stolen, my friend. Good to have you.
Yeah, I'm here. It is me. I promise this is not a deep fake. All right. This is the real David Kahn. My identity was not stolen. I fought them off. They came for me, Kyle Schassburger, and I said, not today. No, sir. You will not take my identity. Why would anyone want to take my identity anyways, is my question. But yeah, last week was a tumultuous one. I had a credit building account created in my name with an email that was not mine and a cell phone number purchased in my name for Verizon, which I do not have Verizon. Shout out AT&T. And I had to call Verizon and be like, what is this real? Like, is this a real account? And the only reason I found out about this account, Kyle, is because I got a bill for the account because they used my name and my address. So I get this bill and I go, I don't have a Verizon phone. So I call Verizon and they go, oh, well, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Here's our fraud department. So I go to the fraud department and they go, well, yeah, we understand. We can't declare this fraud unless you fill out a police report. So I had to call the lovely folks at the Winston-Salem Police Department and file for identity theft.
Oh, my goodness.
I had to fill out a real, actual police report claiming my identity was stolen. Luckily, you can do it online. Takes 10 seconds. They approved it an hour later, and then I submit that to Verizon, and then they canceled the other phone number. But then I had this other credit building account for this online website called Kovo. No fucking idea what that is. And they don't have phone. They don't have phone support. Oh yeah, right away. They don't have phone support, so it's only email message or texting. So I'm texting them, I'm emailing them, being like, "Hey, this is not me. Can you get rid of this?" And I finally, like, the end of the day, because they're on Pacific time, so they're 3 hours behind, and they finally get back to me and they're like, "Hey, can you verify your information with us?" And I'm like, "Sure." It's like, "What's your social?" And I'm like, "I'm not sending you my social over email. I can call you and give you my social, but I'm not typing it out." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't do phone support." I'm like, "Well, I'm not giving you my social." So this might have been how this all started. They're like, I'm like, "Can you verify me any other way?" And they're like, "Yes, if you give us your birthday and address, we can verify you." So I was like, "Oh, fantastic." So I gave them that and they go, "Okay, great." And then they're like, "We've deleted the account for the email address, david.kahn0712@outlook.com. I'm like, "That's not even my email, but that is my birthday." So somebody created an email account for me with my birthday, somehow got it linked to a credit building account and a phone number for Verizon Wireless. That was a Winston-Salem area code phone number, by the way. 336 was the area code. So they created all that. That all got added into all my credit reports. So then I had to call all the credit bureaus, freeze my credit, the whole thing. Just, disastrous stuff last week. Luckily, it's almost over. I have to do one more thing, and then it's completely done. I've already had disputes settled with 2 of the credit bureaus, but it's been it was a long process, and it was very annoying and not one that I want anyone to ever go through. And I was lucky. I didn't lose any money. They didn't get access to my credit cards or anything like that, but still not great. But it's over for the most part. So thank God for that.
Not so fast. You are here, and the police were able to intervene appropriately. You hate to see it, really do. I similarly was scammed in a way where I was out. Gosh, how much money? It was maybe over $1,000 where I had been had, much like you, but I was out a significant amount. You at least were able to nip it in the butt.
I didn't lose any money, yes.
And find it early. For me, I had been had by just being vulnerable to getting a place. My life was changing so much. I was recently divorced, trying to get my own place. I was being helped out by a close friend, Bob Gassett, pour one out, RIP, who served his last day after a long, successful run inside the walls of 540 Northwest Trade. But stayed with him for about 4 months. Pudge was there half the time too. He was tremendous. I'll forever be in debt to him. But I was very anxious, very wanting to get out and find my own place, and he allowed me a little bit of that buffer. to get some cash and be able to save up to move into my own spot, and ran up on a house in a neighborhood, South Winston, not far from where you currently stay, David. And I learned that the housing listing that first got my attention through Craigslist, of all places, right? Red flag number one, made it seem so legit. I went over to the house. I could only look at it on the outside, tried to reach out further through the contact information on Craigslist. Like, hey, I would love to see this house. Like, it seems to be too good to be true. What you're pricing this at for a monthly rate? And the dude just kept stringing me along on the phone saying, well, Florida, he's got to get his contractor over there or his property management over there. But, we're on a time crunch because there's all these different people, so like the vulnerabilities of me trying to get in and take advantage of what I thought was so good and him putting the pressure on me from afar. It was a scam in a way where he basically ripped off a Zillow posting and made it on Craigslist. And, for me to be able to get in and see the place, he dangled that carrot in a way where, hey, give that first month and I'll set up an appointment, later this weekend just for the security deposit, for the deposit to be able to see the place, to be able to have first dibs at getting into the place. So it was very sketchy stuff. It was not a fine moment for me. I was at my lowest point. So it happens, you live and you learn. But I was out, once he asked for the actual, first month's rent, that's when I knew, okay. And I already had all the suspicions. And sure enough, they all came true. And I got the authorities involved as well, too, to at least like, hey, you might not be able to get my money back. I do understand that. Like, please do what you can, because it was a Zelle transfer. So I did a lot of wrong things. Okay, this whole process. Many things that could have been avoided. But again, lowest point in my life. And if you can't give me my money back, that's fine. But let's try to help. Let's try to thwart what could be like some sort of scheme where there's a group of people outside the state of North Carolina and an unknown location that are just ripping off Zillow postings or public postings of homes that are legitimate, that are real, and then putting them on Craigslist, trying to take advantage of weak, nimble folks like myself at their lowest point. Like, let's try to put a stop to that. Is there any way you can investigate that? And I doubt anything ever came of it, but I was, that was as frustrated as you were last week, David Kahn. I feel for you. I do, but it could have been a lot worse. So good on you for 100%. Doing your due diligence. Could have been a lot worse for Texas A&M. Could have been a lot worse for teams like TCU, who have started to turn the corner. Where's the love for West Virginia baseball, David Kahn? Just now sneaking into the rankings. What is going on that a team that has 3 losses, 4 losses, second highest winning percentage in the country? The highest. Past Arkansas now, who dropped out of the nation's number 1 spot after dropping 2 out of 3, winning the opener in Georgia, but then the Bulldogs coming back and winning a wild series. So Arkansas now number 2. Texas moves up to number 1. But for me, West Virginia must be the RPI, right? Hovering around 22, but that series loss against Arizona, a weak schedule overall, has them at the back end of the rankings. TCU right behind them at 25. But a slight shakeup, David. We continue to see Texas A&M, though, do magnificent things that are really starting to gain the nation's attention. For a team that was one-time preseason number 1, we started to doubt their ability to even make the NCAA tournament. And by golly, they did it again. They win a series. They sweep our boy Paul Maneri, and they do so in dramatic fashion. Not once, but twice on the weekend.
Yes, the Thursday opener, first walk-off homer of the season. Caden Sorrell is the hero. 5th home run in 8 games for Caden. And then on Saturday, because it was a Thursday through Saturday series, we had the moment of the weekend. Our Borgo Ball moment that delivered comes early in this podcast. Hit it, Schass.
Bases loaded, nobody out, 2-1. Fly ball into left center field. That's got some carry. Are you kidding me? A grand slam to left center field. It's 12-11. Bases loaded, 2 away, 2-1. Drilled to right field. Oh my goodness! Kent, the walk-off grand slam, and the Aggies come all the way back and win it, 15-12.
So that's Andrew Monaco on the Texas A&M radio network powered by Learfield. That was Hayden Schott and then Caden Kent. 2 ninth-inning grand slams for Texas A&M to complete the series sweep of South Carolina. They rally from a 10-run deficit. They were down 12-2 in the sixth, and they come all the way back. This is after, on Friday, by the way, Justin Lampkin, who's continued to come on with a vengeance now in this league. Coming back, he's healthy. He is just absolutely torpedoing SEC opponents right now. Another 6 innings scoreless for Justin Lampkin. Bear Harrison, career-high 7 RBIs on Friday as he continues to torch opposing pitchers, now with a 16-game on-base streak, along with Jace Lavalette, who's ticked up the offensive production lately as well. But Saturday was the memorable one, right? Because 2 ninth-inning grand slams, 25th team in NCAA history with 2 grand slams in a single inning, and the largest come-from-behind win for Texas A&M since 1974, as they improved to 20-15, 6-9 in the SEC. But they've won 6 in a row, Kyle Schassburger. We said it after that moment against Kentucky. Let this be the spark plug to turn your season around. Is it not? Like, here we go.
It has been. It has been. I love the way we prep for these shows because you get all of your intel. I get all of mine. We're limited. You have followed my lead on the doc where you don't put as much on there. So kind of we're going in dark on what information you have, what information I have, and we can compare notes. We know what we want to talk about. Very good. Yep, got mine right here. We know what we want to talk about. But what kind of nuggets, what kind of tidbits do we share? And are there some discrepancies? Did you say how many times 2 grand slams in an inning? What was your number on that? Because I got 25. 25th.
Yeah, 25. That's
okay,
what I said.
25. Third since at least 1990 to do so in the 9th inning. And we do believe this is the first time ever. It hasn't been 1,000% confirmed, but we think it's the first time ever 2 grand slams in the 9th with the second winning the ball game. At least is the understanding the way information had been disseminated over the weekend. But yeah, wins on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This was one of those Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Most people are all playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week because of Easter coming up. You had the 10-inning, 1-run win, and then a 17-0 demolition of the Gamecocks on Friday before that 15-12 win. You mentioned the 10-run comeback. I have for the Aggies, that is their biggest comeback ever at Olsen Field. Okay.
Yep.
Biggest overall since at least 1974, which you noted. So we're all on the same page there. Caden Sorrell with that solo home run. We highlighted him, spotlighted his success, but since coming back from that hamstring injury a week ago on the podcast. And to the dynamic with Hayden Schott kind of falling out of the lineup because of Sorrell's emergence, and then Schott getting the opportunity in a pinch hitting role. Everything we talked about a week ago, and then it's all coming to fruition, bubbling up to the top and paying massive dividends for these Aggies in the most incredible of ways. 13 straight runs in that finale to win in a walk-off, 15-12 with 2 grand slams. The plot thickens for this Texas A&M squad, who is still just 6-9 in the SEC. Okay, and let's remind folks, 6-9, 20-15. But that's 6 straight wins and 5 straight in the SEC. Overall, so it could have been a lot worse. It's not nearly the disastrous start that like an LSU had through the halfway point of the SEC season a year ago. Texas A&M really is turning it around much more quickly than I think most of us had anticipated them doing so. So good on the Aggies, good on Michael Early. It's murderer's row for them here coming up though down the stretch, as it is each and every week in the SEC. Well, I mean, let's be real. But we're at the halfway point, 5 down and 5 to go. David Kahn and Texas A&M did some superb things on the diamond this weekend.
They did, and they've already beaten Tennessee. They won. That's how this streak started, right? They've won 5 in a row. They took the last 2 against the Volunteers, and then they sweep South Carolina. Yes, they have Arkansas this weekend in Fayetteville, and so Baum Walker is going to be juiced up for that one. You better believe when the Aggies come into town this weekend. But we'll preview the weekend more on our second pod because we're up to 2 pods a week now. 2. Schassburger, don't get sick of us, all right? Because we're coming to you double time each week until the end of the College World Series.
I'm already sick of you, all right? You know something? I'm already sick of you.
Anyways, here's the thing about Texas A&M. You're talking about, respect for West Virginia baseball, and you mentioned they've played kind of an easier schedule. Well, that is absolutely the case because you look at West Virginia. Yes, they're 22 in the RPI because they're 30-4. They've won all these games they're supposed to win, but their strength of schedule is 145. Then you look at Texas A&M, and you say, well, we were counting them out of the College World or out of the postseason a few weeks ago. We were. However, their RPI is now up to 49, and their strength of schedule is 18. So while the results up until recently haven't been there, because Texas A&M plays in what's been a tougher conference in the SEC for the last, decade or so, they have a shot. I mean, you got to win your series, absolutely, but their strength of schedule is way higher than a team like West Virginia, so Texas A&M can afford to shoulder some of these early losses while they've still figured out the right pieces of the puzzle to put together, and now they're feeling good. They keep this winning streak alive, they're in the postseason, no doubt about it.
Here's the thing, too. Ryan Prager, their ace, who turned down the Angels and over $1 million to go to the big leagues and to come back. I mean, he's allowed at least 3 earned runs over his last 5 starts overall. It wasn't since March 7th that he didn't allow any runs against New Mexico State. I mean, he hasn't looked anything like what Texas A&M folks had expected out of an ace coming in. Even on Thursday night, 6 2/3 against South Carolina, 7 hits, 6 runs. 5 of those were earned. Did strike out 8. But he allowed 3 home runs against the Gamecocks in that game. He just hasn't been sharp, yet Texas A&M has been able to overcome that, at least over the last couple of weeks. Will it continue? That game they lost against Tennessee was when Prager had pitched, when they were no hit. What was the final? 10-0. He went 5 2/3, allowed 9 hits, 6 runs, and 3 earned. He just hasn't been on. Imagine if Prager gets it going and the way the rest of that staff, too, and team will start to feed off of them. They're already winning. They're already turning the corner. But Prager, their ace, who turned down the big leagues, hasn't even been on point. First of 2 podcasts this week. We have hat tips. We have social displays of affection. We have dudes. We even have some box score bingo coming up. Later this week on Thursday's pod drop, we're going to have Georgia Tech's Danny Hall. The swan song for him. Georgia Tech is leading the ACC at 14-4. They got a big one with Georgia on Tuesday night. We'll preview the midweek before we get off. Again, we're with you for about an hour or so here today, 45 minutes to an hour on Thursday. But Georgia Tech legendary head coach Danny Hall will join us. The Yellow Jackets 29-7, best start in 15 years. Looking forward to that conversation coming up on Thursday's pod. It's all brought to you by Baseball Barbecue. Go to baseballbarbecue.com. Promo code is 3D-20. Get 20% off. They got a collegiate area for you to browse on the website. A lot of different apparel and swag as well. Some real clever sayings. What's your favorite shirt that you have, David Kahn? If you grill it, they will come. If you grill it,
they will come. Yes, that is my favorite. And it's finally warm enough to grill. Like I walked out of my house today and I was like, you know what's a perfect day for? Grab the grilling tools and break out the meats and slap them on the grill and get those nice spatulas and cutting boards fresh out of storage and get ready because summer is a-coming, all right?
It is, and those cutting boards can be shaped like a jersey. They can be shaped like home plate itself. All the grilling tools, the utensils are this high-quality stuff. It's like a baseball bat, the bat handle. It's not a torpedo bat, unfortunately. The bat doesn't extend long enough from the handle for us to know if it's a grilling item that is a torpedo bat. That might be something in the future for Baseball Barbecue and our friends over there. However, teams like Alabama. Yeah, have to. Alabama, App State, Arkansas, Auburn, who had a sweep of LSU this past weekend at home in front of a record crowd. First sweep of the Tigers since the year I was born in 1988. Ole Miss, Tennessee, all these SEC brands, you can find their things. Southern Miss as well. Tulane, the Green Wave, West Virginia, Wake Forest, Vanderbilt. Just go to baseballbarbecue.com. Again, the promo code is 3D-20. Speaking of Tennessee, who won game 1 and then lost the series last week at home to Texas A&M. This is something we didn't give enough credit. It's hard with 1 pod a week to hit everything. We can talk forever, as most of you know, at this point at All-Schass and SportsCon4. But to try and be efficient, effective, and give you the best in, an appropriate, what we think is an appropriate amount of time, we didn't really dive into some of the revenge games that we had on tap in the SEC this past weekend. You had Liam Doyle, going back to Oxford, 14 Ks in a 3-2 win over Ole Miss. They lost game 2, came back, won the rubber match. These were some high-level close games. I mean, Ole Miss, they're back, folks. I mean, they're top 10, aren't they? I mean, they're top 25. Yeah, they're right there. I mean, Ole Miss
is number 11 actually now. They 11. Dropped 1 spot.
Dropped 1 spot after the series loss. But Liam Doyle raked, and then on the mound, he shoved. And then you had Sam Dutton, former LSU Tiger, just to circle it back to Auburn, who is at home, goes 6 innings against his former team, the Tigers, 3 hits, 7 Ks, no walks. First sweep in 36 years, as I've already mentioned. But 8-4, 4-2, 3-2, these are all low-scoring, tight games. And the record crowd for a single game Plainsman Park, I was there last year when all the renovations were underway, so I couldn't fully experience the new Plainsman Park, if you will. The War Eagle Wall is still there. It's an old-timey field-type park, all the nostalgia. It's tremendous track. But now they've got more seating. They've expanded the press box, put the media kind of down the lines a little bit, but more fans are there. They had 7,231 there for one of the games. In total for the weekend, 19,119. Both of those records for the Auburn Tigers, and first sweep of a top 5 team since they took down Florida in 2017, David Kahn. So Auburn, certainly one of my biggest winners from the weekend.
Absolutely. And it's actually back-to-back series wins over top 10 teams because they beat Alabama last weekend, talking about rivalry, revenge weekend that we just had. They beat Alabama 2 weekends ago, and Auburn is now – they also had a midweek win over Georgia Tech. So, like, Auburn's pushing all the right buttons right now. And this is a team in Auburn who, you remember, their squad missed Hoover last year. Now, every squad's going to Hoover this year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but even Missouri, who's 0-15. What's the over-under? 2.5 in terms of wins for Mizzou?
Oh, Lord.
It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened since 1962 that a team has gone without a win in the SEC. Now, if you go 0-30, holy smoke. So give me 2.5. 2.5. I'm going to go.
Let me see.
I'm going to go over.
Still.
I'm going to go over.
Okay,
they've
so
got Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia,
Alabama.
A&M, and Mississippi State. I got it written down.
Oh my God, 2.5 might be a good number. Oh no, oh Lord. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mizzou. This is tough. I mean, they get Oklahoma in Como, at Alabama. Georgia comes to Como, and then they're at College Station. Yeah, I think the over/under should be set at 4.5. I think that's a good number.
Oh, give me the under then. If we're going 4.5, give me the under.
3.5. I go 3.5 here. What would you say to 3.5?
I'll take the under if you're feeling.
I'll take 4 wins. Okay. I'll give Missouri 4. Yeah, I'll take the over. You take the under. We'll revisit this at the end of the season. I'm going to write this down right now.
Florida got the bounce back as we expected. Yeah. They swept Mizzou this past weekend, including a 7-inning doubleheader on their getaway day, which was Saturday. But a year ago, I mean, for Carrick Jackson, I mean, this has gone backwards. I mean, it was in a much better spot a year ago, David, with Mizzou. They swept Florida. They swept the 6th-ranked Gators at the time a year ago. They won, and that was at home. They had beaten Kentucky, who made it to Omaha. I mean, Mizzou was at least competitive. Now, they didn't make it to Hoover, to your point, which has allowed us to insert the mighty Mizzou Tigers here at this stage of the show quickly and briefly. We don't need to spend too much time. But my goodness, I mean, what has happened to Mizzou?
It's inexplicable, to use your word from last week. Illogical, all right? Inexplicable and illogical. I don't know what your word is for this week, but I'll just pull that one in. 0-15 in the SEC is tough to do. Because, yeah, Mizzou has been at the bottom of the league for some time, but still, like, you're still in the SEC, right? Like, you're still a good baseball team. You have to be a good baseball team to play in the SEC. You have to be. You play around that talent. It makes you better. So to be 0-15 in this league, really, really, really tough stuff. You mentioned Auburn as one of your biggest winners of the weekend. Can we go to the Hill? I want to talk about the Tops, all right? Because I think they're one of my biggest winners of the weekend. Western Kentucky continues to climb, all right? And I just want to say that, we could have a regional for hosted by Western Kentucky, okay? 31-5, 9-3 in Conference USA. Their RPI right now, Schass, is at 32, all right, for Western Kentucky. They are, but the only problem with Western Kentucky is their home stadium, it doesn't meet the requirements to host. But Bowling Green Hot Rod Stadium is 2 miles away, and they're on the road May 30th to June 2nd. So if Western Kentucky continues to dominate like they have been, as I mentioned, they're 31-5. They won 4 in a row, 9-3 in Conference USA. And this weekend, they just came off a sweep of Liberty in Lynchburg. They have a midweek at Louisville, and then they host Middle Tennessee Thursday through Saturday this weekend. They keep winning. They take care of business in Conference USA. We could have a regional hosted by Western Kentucky, potentially, in 2025, as Kyle Schassburger has disappeared from the screen. I believe he's having some technical difficulties here. So we'll hopefully Kyle will get back on here shortly. But anyways, that's one of my biggest winners of the week, because I now have the full stage. So I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Western Kentucky, props to the Tops. I know Shass has some info on them as well. Let's get back to.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. I don't know what happened there. I just had to get out, get in, unplug, get in. I don't know if my mic's the right way. I did a test,
It's not.
But
it's not, but it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Keep
I
going.
was just praising Western Kentucky. We're regaling on the Tops and mentioning on the fact that Western Kentucky, Shass, they could host a regional this year. It's possible. Their RPI's at 32, 31-5, 9-3 in Conference USA, but their stadium doesn't fit the requirements to host a regional. However, Bowling Green Hot Rod Stadium, 2 miles down the road, and they're on the road regional weekend, so they could use their stadium, hopefully, if they're friendly with the Bowling Green Hot Rods, which I'm sure they are. And
okay, how much?
Have a Hilltopper regional.
Do I sound better now?
Yes.
Okay. How much information have you spilled about WKU other than the hosting situation? Because they deserve to be part of the
hosting
conversation.
situation. Okay. And I went through the fact that they swept Liberty this past weekend in Lynchburg, and who they play, Middle Tennessee and Louisville right now. That's who I have mentioned so far. But I knew you had more information. I was trying to set you up, and then all of a sudden your audio crapped out. So here you go. The floor is yours. Talk to me about the Tops.
All right, Tops 31-5, 9-3. They have a 1-game lead only in the win column on Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech, by the way, haven't lost a single CUSA weekend to this point. Those two are hooking up in a few weeks. But Mark Arardin, second fastest at WKU to 100 wins in his third season, took 152 games. This guy spent 20 years at the community college level. Iowa Western Community College. Took his team to 12 JUCO World Series, won 3 national titles, and now in year 3 has completed a historic turnaround where this team was 18-36 prior to his arrival. Now they're on the verge of hosting a regional, as we've discussed, as long as they continue to take care of business. They're not first in line from a mid-major or non-P4 standpoint, but there's plenty of season still over the next 5 weeks to determine that. But 33 wins in year 1, 36 wins in year 2. They got Louisville here on Tuesday night. They host MTSU this weekend, who dropped 2 out of 3 to Louisiana Tech this past weekend. And Kahn, here's the thing at home. It's a shame that this team can't host the regional, because at their home field, they are perfect. They're 22-0 at home. Best start in school history at home. And they're balanced. Like, that's the thing. They're doing it on the mound, and they're doing it in the box, as which you would expect with a team with this much success to this point. But here are the numbers that bear it out. ERA, number 1 nationally at 2.64. There's not another team with an ERA under 3. Whoa. They're at 2.64. Texas is second nationally with a 3.03 ERA. Not to mention, in CUSA, number 1 in batting average, second in runs, number 1 in hits, second in RBI and slugging percentage, and their 87 doubles is tied for 8th nationally. They got a guy, Ryan Weidman, 4th nationally with a 446 batting average. But again, this team goes, as their head coach goes, to his personality, Mark Arardin, who is a program builder and sustainer. He proved it for 20 years at the JUCO level at Iowa Western Community College. Again, 3 national titles, 12 World Series appearances in all, and Western Kentucky is performing like a team that could be hosting, unfortunately not at their own ballpark, but if they can take care of business here over the final 5 weeks, we shall see. Real cool story on the hilltop in Bowling Green for WKU. Big fan of Western
and
Kentucky.
Jack Bennett. Did you mention Jack Bennett? 4th nationally in ERA, 1.52 ERA. He's only given up 7 earned runs all year in 41 1/3 innings over 8 appearances. All right. Tip of the cap to Jack Bennett for Western Kentucky. They have the 4th best player in average-wise and an ERA individually. Tops in the league in ERA. Batting average, where were they? I forget where they were in batting average overall as a team. They were 18th. But still, amazing stuff.
Yeah,
on the hill. Love to see it. You want to revisit West Virginia, because you brought up the fact that they just got ranked this weekend.
Yeah,
and so like we mentioned the fact they've had a soft schedule, right? The best team they've played all year is Arizona, and they lost that series. So like that kind of explains why they needed a kind of signature win. And they still don't really have it yet. Houston's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the Big 12 right now. But it doesn't matter. They've just won. Like, they won 10 in a row. You can't ignore it anymore. Like, I get it. You're like, oh, like their strength schedule is 145. Okay, whatever. But they've only lost 4 times all year. 2 to Arizona, 1 to BYU, and I forget the 4th one. But doesn't matter. Anyways, they've won 10 games in a row. They're winning the games they're supposed to win. You can't ignore the fact that this team is firing on all cylinders, especially pitching, because here's what happened over the weekend in Houston. They sweep the Cougars 9-2, 9-8, 11-4. On Friday, Griffin Kern shoves 6 innings, 5 Ks. Reese Bassinger is one of the most lights-out relievers in all of college baseball, and I will not hear anything otherwise. 3 scoreless innings, 5th save of the season, locks it down. Houston, no chance, nighty-night. It's over. 9-2 win for West Virginia. Saturday, 9-8. Gavin Van Kempen, tough start, back and forth game. Houston took an early lead. West Virginia clawed back. Then West Virginia took the lead. Houston had 2 chances in the 7th and the 8th to retake the lead. In the 7th inning, Carson Estridge comes in with the bases loaded and a 1-run lead for West Virginia. Locks it down. No, sir. In the 8th, Grant Hussey heads up play after Brody Kresser fires wide of the bag at first. Hussey, instead of worrying about trying to tag the runner out for the final out of the inning, sees that Houston is trying to score the winning run at the plate, whips around, fires it home, tag applied, inning over, nighty-night, and Estridge goes 1-2-3 in the 9th. Game over. West Virginia wins 9-8. And then on Sunday, Jack Kartsonis, the mustachioed man, made his first start of the season. 7 innings, no runs. Logan Save, 2 dingers. Kyle West, a dinger. Gavin Kelly stole home. 11-4. Smell you later, Houston. You just got swept.
West Virginia
ranked in the ears.
Finally, they're ranked. Barely, but they're there. Western Kentucky,
24.
by the way, is ranked in one of the polls. I forget which one. Might be Baseball America. They're right on the fringe of getting into the D1 baseball in top 25, which the NCAA adopts. But, yeah, West Virginia is finally in. They're a wagon, man. You've seen them up close and personal. You can speak as well on that team as anybody, certainly more so than me. So that's why I allow you to have. We should make sure we give David Kahn a designated 3 to 5 minute just jaunt through West Virginia baseball. Unfortunately, we have no backyard breakdown or moment that delivered, all presented by Borgo Ball. You did mention
we did have the moment that delivered.
That has
Texas A&M.
No, that resembles West Virginia. Okay.
Oh, I could have given you one. There's 3 from the weekend, but I decided to go with A&M.
Yes, but you gave me the A&M one. We'll give the Borgo Ball read, though, with another moment from this past weekend here momentarily that I do want to go over before we break and give you the box score bingo. I do want to circle back to the SEC. I know, I'm sorry, but how many teams are ranked in the top 10 out of the SEC? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of the top 10, and we're talking 4 out of the top 5. It's going to happen, folks. But we are trying to give as much love to the P4 and other leagues. We haven't even really mentioned the ACC outside of Georgia Tech. And we'll have Danny Hall on the show Thursday to talk about them Jackets. North Carolina sweeping Wake Forest 28-2 across 14 innings.
2-run rules.
Yeah, across the first 2 games. And then a 3-2 close win on Sunday. That after Wake Forest built so much goodwill, winning 2 out of 3 in Tallahassee the week prior, but then North Carolina.
And then FSU sweeps Virginia Tech.
Yeah. It's
what?
It's bonkers. So we've hit on the SEC. We've hit on the Big 12. We hit on the ACC. Big 10, sorry. Iowa, okay, our corn is better. Yeah, Iowa Hawkeyes in front of 2,600 fans, a record for them. Baseball attendance just soaring. That is one of my hat tips for the weekend. Just the people that are showing out to these games, not just in Auburn, but also at Iowa when the Hawkeyes won a series over Nebraska this past weekend and doing so in front of a record crowd. So good on them. Oklahoma had a record crowd as well, just under 6,000. I think it was somewhere in the 5s for their series win over Vanderbilt this past weekend. And I do want to come back to the SEC because the Georgia finish to win the series in the rubber match after dropping game 1 against Arkansas on Friday night. Arkansas won by 10 runs, but
13-3.
Yeah, the scoreboard was not illustrative, really, of how that game went. Arkansas just was able to pour it on in those final innings. The game was much closer than that, but then Georgia able to take game 2 and then game 3 to win the series thanks to a walk-off bomb in the 12th.
Hit high out into right center with some carry. Henry Hunter has done it, and the Dogs win! Henry Hunter with a dramatic walk-off homer.
That's Jeff Dantzler from Learfield, 7-6 and 7-6, each of the final 2 games in that series, both pointing in the direction of Georgia after that 13-3 loss in game 1. Henry Hunter giving Georgia the series win over Arkansas, causing the Hogs to drop 1 spot in the rankings. I think we're being too hard on the top team in the country for losing 1 series.
We keep having a new one.
Have we changed our principles here? Because I feel like too many times number 1 has lost a series and we haven't had some knee-jerk instinctive reaction to just all of a sudden drop them. That was supposed to be the difference with the sport of baseball. However, not the case this past weekend. I think the Hogs got jobbed of that number 1 ranking. I know Texas went out. They won 2 out of 3 from Kentucky. You still got to break that one down, too, in terms of the bunt. But come on. Like, Arkansas loses 1 series, and we're going to push him back? Whatever. I prefer it that way. I do prefer it that way, but I feel like the track record has been more so to give the benefit of the doubt and not overreact to 1 weekend.
No, you're right. It absolutely is. That has been the track record. By the way, for Georgia, a couple of nuggets on them. First series win over the number 1 team since 2021, and the first at Foley Field in Athens since 1993, before I was born. You were 5 last time they did it. Amazing. Anyways, you're right. That has been the trend. By the way, Georgia 32-6, 10-5 in the SEC, 24-2 now at Foley Field, going into Tuesday midweek action, hosting Georgia Tech as part of Clean Old Fashioned Hate. Again, we will have Danny Hall on the podcast on Thursday, talk about them Jackets, who are killing it right now. But yeah, is it because they're who they're playing? Like, Arkansas played the number 5 team in the country and they lost. So is it you have to move them down because you have to move everybody else up? I mean, Texas, to their credit, like you said, went on the road, beat Kentucky at Kentucky Pride Park, 29-5, 13-2 in the SEC, 11th consecutive series win. It's hard to ignore a team like that that's right behind Arkansas, where Texas hasn't lost a series 11 straight times. Arkansas has lost 1. So if you really just compare it on that one singular level, you have to rank Texas higher than Arkansas. I agree with you. I actually like this way they're doing it this year versus the way they've been done in recent years. Because, people are like, oh, well, you can look at it this way, look at it that way. Well, here's one singular metric you can look at. Texas hasn't lost a series in 11 straight series. Arkansas just lost 1. Boop. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no argument there. It's decided. By the way, for Texas, shout out to Grayson Saunier, his first career save on Sunday after he backs up Ruyer Riojas, who goes 6 2/3, career high 114 pitches, gets his SEC best 7th win of the season after the 15-inning marathon game for Kentucky and Texas that Kentucky won on a sacrifice bunt in 15 innings the day before. So both pitching staffs are exhausted. Texas uses 2 guys, Riojas and Saunier, and they get the job done. First career save for Saunier, final 7 outs as Texas gets their 11th consecutive series win, longest in league play since 2011-2012 for the Horns.
Did you see that the Burgonios have redesigned the website?
Yes.
BackyardBaseballBros.com is where you can get your Borgo ball. They come in 4-packs, $19.99. Go to BackyardBaseballBros.com, and you're going to see a reimagined, a redesigned.
You want to see
website.
it? I can show it.
Go ahead. Feel free. BackyardBaseballBros.com. Designed for the perfect grip. Raised seams, most mimic the feel of a real baseball. As David Kahn is showing that off now. We appreciate it so much.
Turning baseball.
Yeah, it's the 360 view. Blake, Ty, Brett, Tatum. By the way, Tatum robbed a home run before our show last week. I meant to bring that up. I saw the video. Tatum scaled the wall in left center field at his high school game. We had Tatum, Blake, and Brett on the show a couple of weeks ago. And robbed a home run. Yeah, very clean.
Oh, my God.
The Borgo Ball foam core, safe for indoor play, built to last. You can use it outside as well.
Look at this, Shass. built for backyard legends.
Oh, you can be a backyard legend. Just go to backyardbaseballbros.com. Follow them on Instagram at backyardbaseballbros. Kahn, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to give you a Borgo Ball bonus mention for a backyard breakdown delivered by Borgo Balls. And this comes in an Ole Miss Alcorn State game this past week. Check it out, where a guy scores from home without any errors after leading at first.
I kind of lose it there at that point.
There's the Chatinier, the runner. He made it. He slid in successfully. And now he's going to try to take third because nobody's covering third. And Chatinier makes it in there safely as well. And now nobody's covering home. Can he do it? You bet he can. He's slid into all three bases, second, third, and home. And when are you going to see that one, Keith Kessinger?
No way.
Isn't that great?
That's
It's so great. So that's a backyard breakdown. We'll break it down here for you, but the video speaks for itself. For those listening on the podcast, though, it's just stealing second, third, and home because nobody is covering the base ahead. And the throw is being thrown either towards the outfield side, towards second, or towards on the third base outfield side to third. But then there's nobody at home. Chatinier is able to come all the way around, go to second, go to third, and come home to score. BackyardBaseballBros.com. Pay off that backyard breakdown delivered by Borgo Ball. Again, love them. Follow them on Instagram at Backyard Baseball Bros. Good stuff. I had to play that. By the way, one of those wins, they played Alcorn State 2 games. Forgive me, I don't know if it was that exact game. Ole Miss won 29-1 in one of those games. What are we doing?
I mean, program record for runs for Ole Miss, I'm pretty sure, 29. So
yeah. All right, can we take a break? I need to wet. I need to wet my beak with some coffee because I still have a coffee that I have not finished today. All right, I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and I want to talk box score bingo. We can throw in any other items that we want to make sure we get in when we touch on the midweek slate, and then we got to get the hell out of here. Danny Hall coming up on Thursday. I do want to talk about Wiley Ballard, field correspondent on Braves Television. We've got to talk about that as well. So we'll come back. Plenty more to come on the Tuesday edition of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletic season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
We're having a lot of fun up here up the Corona rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys feeling about rooting for the Braves today?
Oof, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you?
They're winning.
Not quite.
They are winning, but they haven't won.
Go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
Godzilla.
Braves fans.
Brandon Gaudin.
All right, so they want me to
Oh,
get your
boy.
I'm dead serious. They're saying to my ear right now, she didn't believe me because she
Great
thinks you guys
response
are
from
not
Lauren
making
saying,
this up.
"Oh, they want you to get my number. Why don't you?"
Yeah.
Use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
This is unbelievable.
Oh man, FanDuel Sports Network. Thank you for that audio and incredible video. If you're watching our YouTube channel, Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. I met Wiley Ballard when I was at Plainsman Park last year. He was doing TV for the SEC Network for Arkansas and Auburn. Did not get the vibe that this guy would have the kahunas to actually try and spit some game and get some digits while on the job by leveraging his role as a field correspondent and broadcaster. I feel like he got kind of cornered by Brandon Gaudin. Good on Godzilla. for actually showing a little bit of personality himself there and just rolling with it and saying, hey, this hasn't been a lot of this. I feel like has to do with the Braves just not being competitive for the most part too. And it's kind of been a miserable start to the year. And like, hey, viewership might be down, but like, let's get a little, after hours delight here. Get a little risque, a little provocative, and blur the lines and make it exciting. And I thought it was great. It was genuine. It was authentic. It wasn't planned. It wasn't orchestrated. But let's show a little bit of personality. I love it.
None of that is incorrect. However, I have to take the other side here because, and this is nothing to do with Wiley, because I feel like Wiley was kind of cornered into being like, well, like they're kind of asking for it on TV. Can I have your phone number?
Yeah.
If a female reporter did this to two guys, that would be the end of her career, and that's not fair. So point. I have to take the other side here. The fact that this is getting promoted and lauded for Wiley and Brandon doing this is very unfair to the female side of females in sports broadcasting, because if a female was doing this, it would be a completely negative response. So I do need to put that out there, because I have seen that out there from several notable female reporters and broadcasters saying the same thing, and I completely agree with them. So it's not to diminish Wiley or anything, because in the moment it was a fun, jokey thing, like you said. Provided some humor, some personality for a team that's had a horrible start to the season in the Atlanta Braves. But, if we're going to hoopla this, if it was a female reporter, it probably wouldn't be hoopla'd. It'd be more weird, and she would be looked at in a negative light. So I find it hard to kind of shine too much of a spotlight on that.
Okay. Hey, fair perspective. This is why you are my co-host. You're here to balance things out, to bring in the perspective, to allow others to see or to hear maybe what they're, unwilling to or are ignorant to see, because they have one side of the coin and you provide the second. And there's always three. There's always three. Yeah. Thank you for providing the proper light on that. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So I did scoop that from Miles Garrett.
I saw it
at Miles
too.
Garrett TV. Yeah. So that's who I took the video from. Just giving him credit, at Miles Garrett TV, who posted that nugget. 4.7 million views on Twitter, on X.
Not Miles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns, by the way. Different guy.
No, different monster. This is a TV monster, not a football monster. All right, can we do some box score bingo?
Yeah, let's get into it. Eastern Illinois and Southeast Missouri State. SEMO is where we go for box score bingo. Kyle Schassburger, and I'm gonna actually share this box score on the screen so we can both look at it in its miraculousness, I think is the best way to put it. So let me pull this up here. Here we go. All right, here is the box score that I want to do for box score bingo this week. I don't know if you can see it too well. Do I need to zoom in
a little bit? Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Oh, and courtesy of 11.7, our friends.
It's getting smaller actually. So I don't know what's going on here, but
that's okay.
I think it's because of, you know what, I'm gonna pull it up on their actual website here. Give me a second.
That's what I was gonna do. Come on, rookie move, bro. Come on, you know better.
All right. Anyway, so it's Eastern Illinois and Southeast Missouri State. They played baseball over the weekend, and on Friday night they had a bonkaroo game, 5 hours and 15 minutes and 19 innings between the two. They threw my 16 inning game to the woodshed with West Virginia and Arizona. As they played Eastern Illinois, they won 2 out of 3, but Friday's game was certainly something to behold as they were playing an OVC play. Let me get this box score up here. I think this is the one.
I got it. By the way, when you go to the SEMO website, they don't even put the 19 innings in parentheses on the schedule.
Oh, bad look. I don't like that look at all.
What are we doing?
All right, here we go. I got it now. Here we go. Here it is. Here's the box score. Can we see this one now?
Yeah, it's better.
Is that better? Okay.
Do a little zoom in.
All right, we'll do a little zoom in here.
Yeah, there we go. That's it right there.
So the biggest thing that I want to point out here, no runs from the 7th inning until the 19th inning. Runs 8 through 18, zilch. All right. 6 runs on 16 hits, 2 errors for Eastern Illinois. 3 runs on only 7 hits and 1 error for SEMO. You scroll into the box score and you expect to see like gargantuan strikeout numbers, right? SEMO, only 11 strikeouts, only 6 walks. Eastern Illinois struck out more times, won the game, 18, and they walked more, 8. But only 7 hits for SEMO, 16 for Eastern Illinois. SEMO had to use, count them, 9 pitchers in this game. Their starter went 5 2/3, and then they had another reliever go 5 innings in Gavin Johnston, where he faced 17 batters, struck out 8, only allowed 2 hits, no runs, and they still lose the game. Meanwhile, for Eastern Illinois, each of their first 2 pitchers basically throw starts. Anthony Solis 6 1/3, Dalton Boruff 6 2/3, and then the guy who gets the win, Christian Carew, goes 4 innings of 1-hit ball and faces 16 batters. I mean, there's craziness all over this box score. You've got guys with 9 at-bats, Mike O'Connor, Jake Ferguson over here, couple of 8 at-bat guys, Carson Track, Bryce Cannon, Cole Wareheim for Southeast Missouri. There is so much to break down in this box score, dude. It is wild.
No runs between the 7th and 19th is the lead item for me, which you mentioned. This is kind of the other end of the spectrum when we do box score bingo, because this is pitching to contact outside of the 18 Ks by SEMO, but a lot of batted balls, just not a lot of success, not a lot of hits, not a lot of runs. It's indicated by a 3-3 game. 1 homer in total, and it came from SEMO. So, this is not the smattering of runs that we like to chronicle in these sorts of stories and wild, crooked numbers or that sort of thing. This is just a 5-hour and 10-minute ball game that went the way of the team that probably deserved it in terms of churning out enough timely hits, or at least one more timely hit in the 19th inning to be able to push across those 3 runs and win by the final count of 6-3. Because, Eastern Illinois, they did strike out those 18 times, but 16 hits, that's more than double what SEMO had. They only had 7 hits in total. So SEMO did have the 1 homer, but and no crooked number, 1 run in the 2nd, 2 in the 6th for Eastern Illinois. They trailed 2-1 after 4 innings and then went ahead 3-2 after 6. The 1 run in the 7th for SEMO, and then no runs from the 8th inning on until that 19th inning. 6 runs on 16 hits, 2 errors for EIU. EIU. 3 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for SEMO. Love Eastern Illinois. I got some stories on Eastern Illinois.
I bet you do, Mr. Western Illinois Leatherneck. Got
some stories. Almost went to Eastern, did a campus visit, but only visited Eastern one time to party per se, or visit some friends. Because if I was going to go to Charleston, if I was going to go Macomb to Charleston, might as well go to Champaign and head up the University of Illinois. So, and then there's Bloomington.
Charleston, Illinois?
That's where Eastern Illinois is, yeah.
Charleston. Oh, God. That's the 3rd Charleston I'm aware of now, because of Charleston, West Virginia, and Charleston, South Carolina.
I'm sure there's probably a dozen Charleston.
Now I want to know. All right. Now I want to find out.
I'm sure there's a lot of Charlestons.
I'm Googling it, so talk me through something else while I figure this out.
I will, because the story about me going to Eastern, the one time, actually I spent New Year's 2008, I think, there when the campus was empty. Donnie and I, my best friend, the Duck.
Oh, yeah.
We spent the holiday there at one of our friends' apartments and had a joyous time. But we went there another time before St. Patrick's Day, which is unofficial St. Patty's Day. St. Patty's, always with these. A couple of weekends before actual St. Patrick's Day or Patty's Day in Champaign at the University of Illinois. We went down on Thursday night to be closer in Charleston at EIU. Didn't go to bed at all that night at all. Got back in the car at like 5 a.m., drove up to Champaign. Keg was already tapped at 6:30 when we showed up, and it's just a Friday is unofficial St. Patty's Day at the University of Illinois. It's an incredible experience. All day affair. A lot of fun. It's a marathon. You have an answer for me on Charlestons?
Yes, I do. 29 Charlestons in the United States.
Okay.
So there's a Charleston in the following states: Arizona, Arkansas, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Staten Island, which is in New York City, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont. There's a Charleston County in South Carolina. There's a Charleston Township in Illinois, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. There's a Mount Charleston in Nevada, twice. There's a North Charleston in South Carolina, a city. There's a South Charleston in Ohio, a Charleston, West Virginia, and a West Charleston, Ohio. Some of these are ghost towns, by the way. Charleston, Oklahoma, and Charleston, Arizona, and Charleston, Nevada are ghost towns. All right. So probably not there's probably not actually 29 of these. I think I double counted a couple of these, but there's a lot of Charlestons. There's also a Charleston, New Zealand, a Charleston, Nova Scotia, a Charleston, Newfoundland, and a Charleston, South Australia, as well as 4 Charlestons in the United Kingdom alone. Holy rabbit hole. Oh my gosh.
So we have Charleston, Illinois, home of Eastern Illinois University, and there's also a Charleston Township in Illinois.
I think it's kind of within the same thing. I think that's why I said I think I double counted.
Okay.
I was going off Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not totally accurate.
Because there shouldn't be multiple Charlestons in a single state. I mean, you agree, right? Like there shouldn't be multiple any town in a single state. Okay. All right. Because that would be, I mean, blasphemous. Speaking of Donnie Duck Settle, let me just say this, Kahn, before I just want to note one more weekend, then we could take another break, come back, wrap up the show. But Donnie Duck Settle and I, my best friend, Chicago firefighter, I was the best man in his wedding in Cancun this past December. Things got weird, and things are going to get weird for one night only this weekend, Friday
He's coming
night.
to town?
Tell us how crazy and wild we are. He's in Chicago. I'm here in High Point, North Carolina. And we are going to drive essentially the same distance to meet in a new city we have never experienced for one night only, because it was over our heads that it's Easter. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it because my daughter's with her mom for Easter weekend. However, this kid has a child that turns 1 next week. Next month. He's newly married. He's not going to be able to get both Friday and Saturday night and drive back on Easter off. So instead of completely pulling the pin on this entire production that we were just spontaneously scheming, we're going to drive up Friday morning, overnight Thursday, because neither of us are going to be able to sleep. And we're going to meet in the Steel City, and we're going to enjoy one night of all that Pittsburgh has to offer. 2 fine young gentlemen with families who are away from their families. And this
are you going to a Pirates game?
I told Donnie there's 2 things I want on this itinerary, and we can axe them, but there's 2 things I know we need to at least do all we can to hit. Pirates are in town hosting Cleveland. Paul Skeens, who I know threw on Monday, is I think throwing on Saturday, and it is Paul Skeens bobblehead day. But that's the day we're going to be driving back. We only have one night. Okay.
Unfortunate.
If we get up there at 11 a.m. Eastern, noon worst case, I'll probably get there at 6 a.m. because I'll probably start driving at 11 o'clock at night, and then I'll just sleep in my car. Get a 5-hour nap or something in the hotel parking lot. Anyways, they play Friday night. I'm like, look, the game isn't something for us to go to. The game is there to come to us. We have all the leverage. We are the ones in charge. We're not going to the game. The game is coming to us. The game is seeing us. We can buy the cheapest ticket. We can get in, check last minute, see what scalping's going on, like find the best deal. But let's make sure we can cross PNC Park off the list.
Yeah.
All the good things I've heard about it. Let's get in there. Let's catch a couple innings. Let's get a couple beers. Maybe we're in there for 3 innings. Maybe we're in there for 5. I really don't care. We'll get the requisite photos. We'll shake hands. We'll kiss babies. We'll network. We'll meet. We'll schedule meetups for later in the night with certain bros, strangers, of course. And, we'll hightail it out of there, walk across the bridge back downtown. But let's at least show up. So, that's on the docket.
Permanente Bros, is that on the docket?
And then Permanente Bros is the other item for Saturday.
Let's go.
Whenever we wake up and have to check out, and we will wait until the last possible moment. So who knows?
Hangover cure.
Yeah, we will be going to Permanente Bros and paying off the entire weekend after that. So here's the thing. When Donnie likes to come down to North Carolina every single year, my best friend, my roommate all throughout college, and we have about a 3-4 day, stretch of letting our hair down and getting crazy and rekindling all the glory days of, from age 16, 17 when I first met him to 20 years later. And it's just us and nothing else matters. And instead of planning and trying to condition ourselves for what could be a 3-4 day run, we are presenting ourselves with something that has never occurred in either of our lives, and that's one night for it all. 24-hour period. Pedal to the metal. Can't let off the gas. No regrets. Clear eyes. Full hearts. Can't lose. Yeah. How do you want to be remembered? Your one night with your bro in Pittsburgh. I know how I want to be remembered, and we're going to do everything we can to bring that to fruition on Friday night.
I love it.
In the Steel
Now,
City.
You'll be back Saturday.
Back in 2 minutes on Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness or disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Help us get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact. All in, all together.
College softball season is in full swing, and we're just the ones to talk about it. Join me, former Stanford Cardinal and award-winning broadcaster Jenna Becerra and Amanda Lorenz every week as we deliver the latest in college softball on the D1 Softball Podcast. We've got all the latest, whether it is in the circle or in the batter's box. We have interviews with coaches, players, and many more. We'll go through the week's top 25 poll and give our insights, as well as our plays, wins, and whiffs of the week. Let us get you in the know on all things college softball. Listen on D1Softball.com and the Varsity Network app.
And hopefully I sound good. I had to reconnect my stuff in the break. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. I want to clarify something from your story that you just mentioned before we get into dudes, hat tips, STAs.
Oh my gosh, what do we got to clarify?
You'll be back Saturday, correct?
Saturday night, yeah. Why?
Okay, well, my parents are in town this weekend, and I was going to invite you to finally meet them. I guess we have to do Sunday breakfast if you're going to be around.
I'll be back by Sunday morning. I don't know what time I'm getting back on Saturday or how many stops.
No, not Saturday. Saturday's booked up. We have a whole thing that with that day is taken. But Sunday there are no plans on the books. You have not met the mom and dad yet. They know who you are. They watch the podcast.
I would love to do a brunch of some sorts because as of right now I don't have any plans on Sunday, and if I would, it would be probably after 2:00. So
they will be on a plane home out of PTI by that point. So yes, plan on it. Sunday brunch.
Okay. We can do that. We can do that. I love that. The one thing I wanted to say too about spinning this off box score bingo, NC State, did you see their series win over Louisville this past weekend? So I
did say they won the series, yes.
So they won 13-11 on Friday. Okay. And that's the game I want to focus on just real briefly. But then they lost 25-8 on Saturday. Before winning 11-1 in 8 innings on Sunday. I mean, this was a roller coaster of all roller coasters. But the game I want to most spotlight, just real quickly, and then we'll move on. NC State in that 13-11 win on Friday, just to tell you how back and forth and just chaotic the weekend was. They trailed 6-1. NC State trailed 6-1, then led 9-7, then trailed 11-9 before winning 13-11. So had to overcome multiple deficits in a seesaw affair, and then got their brains beat in 25-8 on Saturday before coming back and winning in 8 innings, 11-1. All right, Kahn, take us where you want to go next.
All right, let's go to the dudes and the hat tips. I think we're ready for that. Let's go to the dudes first. I'm going to start. You remember a couple years ago, what was that guy's name who caught the raccoon at Baumwalker Stadium? You remember that guy? We had him on the podcast.
Yeah, Grant.
He was awesome. Yeah, Grant. That's right. Well, we may have a challenger to
Grant Harmon. Grant
Harmon. Yes, we may have a challenger to Grant Harmon. Okay, because I'm going to take you to Rice and South Florida, where over the weekend we had a beehive delay, and I got to shout out the man who took care of business. All right, I'm sharing the screen again, folks. I'm obsessed with doing this. Here we go. Here he is.
And here's
just
that
take
replay.
a watch
See, our
at
video
this man
are on top.
who just comes up and bare hands this beehive in the South Florida visitors dugout, third base side, snares it and dunks it in water, and bye-bye bees. That's it. That's all she wrote.
He made that look way too easy. I mean, he just reached up like he was changing a light bulb.
And the bees are coming at him, and he's like, I don't care. I got it. All
he's not
good. Bye-bye.
He's not wearing any special gear. Remember the bee dude that we talked about last year throughout the first pitch at the Astros game?
Yes.
Was it the Astros or the Diamondbacks game? It was one of those.
The Diamondbacks game. He had a beekeeper suit on.
Man,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we spent some time talking about that one. I mean,
that's my dude of the week, by the way.
Our dude there at USF makes the Diamondbacks dude look soft as hell. Knowing that he wore that big old suit, like a hazmat outfit before he was disarming a bomb or walking on a planet previously undiscovered. B-Man's like freaking Kenny Powers or Joe Dirt, just overalls and all.
Love it.
Just strutting in there. Let me change that light bulb for you. Oh, it's a beehive? That's all right. Let me dunk it in some water. He's going to take a bite out of it right after. That's what the cameras didn't catch. He's going to take a bite out of that beehive.
Probably.
Oh, gosh.
That's my dude, by the way. So there you go. You can have your two dudes. I don't think anything beats the Rice baseball beekeeper, though.
No, not at all. Blake Gillespie, you noted him earlier this year when he threw the no-hitter. 8 innings pitched for Charlotte on Friday night in Uptown at the home of the Charlotte Knights. Real cool setting, awesome backdrop. The ACC baseball tournament had been held there recently, moving back to the DBAP this year. But Gillespie, 8 innings, 11 Ks, walk, 5 hits allowed, 103 total pitches, and a 6-0 Friday win over ECU. First shutout ever for Charlotte, playing at that stadium in Uptown. What is it, Truist Park? I mix it up.
Truist Field.
Truist Field. Okay. Yeah. A lot of Truists on stadiums around here. Truist Park, which is the home of the Braves, is hosting the Georgia and the Georgia Tech game on Tuesday night. Fourth start, though, of 8+ innings thrown, 11 Ks for Blake Gillespie this season. American Pitcher of the Week. Fourth quality start in a row. Second with 0 runs allowed. He's a Georgia transfer. Previously had that no-no, leads the AAC. The American, beg your pardon, with a .90 ERA, 44 Ks, 4-0 record in league play. Another dude sharing the honors, going back to the Masters. We talked about all the graphics, all the Masters twists, and I don't know this is your social display of affection, I think, so maybe we haven't talked enough about it, so you can unpack it even more. You had the green jacket home run celebration even that Texas A&M had deployed at Bluebell Park this past weekend. But the Masters in high demand. Congrats to Rory McIlroy. Our boy Bryson DeChambeau was right there in the final group. Everything was there. But look, I'm still very happy with his performance. And if Bryson wasn't going to win that thing, I wanted Rory to complete the career Grand Slam. So good on him. But Michael McDermott is the top club player at Augusta National, who had that amazing honor on the weekend of being the designated non-competing marker. And he had earned that nod since 2021. Should there be an odd number of players that make the cut at the Masters, he would get to play. And he was able to do so with Tom Kim. There's no name on, the caddy bibs. He's kind of the definition of anonymity. He's not.
I didn't know that.
There's no score, really. I mean, he's taking his own personal score, but the cameras aren't showing him or doing their best not to give him any sort of spotlight of any kind. And he knows all this. But who cares? You're out there playing Augusta National in the Masters as the designated non-competing marker. He's a COA of a financial services firm, drives the ball 300-plus yards. He lived the American dream this past weekend. Michael McDermott, club member at Augusta National, able to play on the weekend in the Masters.
He did, and apparently Tom Kim said he's a complete baller. Which is pretty cool praise. And he's told Tom Kim told the AP he estimated that he shot in the 70s at Augusta. Wow.
Gosh.
That's amazing. No official score that we can find, but estimated shot in the 70s. Can I nominate Blake Gillespie for an ass selection?
Yeah, I think we can put him on the ACC squad. Yeah.
All right. Very good. I think he's had a long enough run this year where he's earned the right to be an ACC member. It's your 4th ACC selection of the season, by the way. To remind folks of the other 3, you have James Quinn Irons, #Gaines, outfielder for George Mason. You have Jet Music, the outfielder right-handed pitcher combo for Campbell, and Maximus Martin, the infielder for Kansas State, which, by the way, how freaking Titanic is K-State Kansas going to be this weekend, with Kansas getting broomed by TCU right after Kansas State got knocked off the top throne in the Big 12 the weekend before, leaving room for West Virginia to take the top spot, 10-3 in the Big 12. TCU right behind them at 11-4 after brooming the Jayhawks. So just wrap that all back around to a weekend preview, which we'll get to on Thursday with our second pod of the week.
By the way, you're reminding me, I didn't really implement a word for this podcast. We'll just go with thrill. Okay, thrill. It was a thrilling weekend on the diamond in a variety of different ways. So we've encapsulated all of it to this point. Kahn, anything to clean up on the Masters and SDA connections with schools? I may have stolen your thunder there.
No, just all the Masters branded social media from college baseball over the weekend. I mean, Arkansas did all their graphics like Masters colors, and here's the final round pairings. Like that was really cool. I liked seeing all that stuff. It wasn't just Arkansas. Texas A&M, you mentioned the Masters jacket celebration. That was fantastic. Love to see all of that. I do have another SDA, if you'll allow me to insert myself here for a moment.
You are allowed
Rio
to
Grande
insert
Valley.
yourself. Yes.
All right. UT Rio Grande Valley. We love talking about the Vaqueros, and they did something incredible yesterday on their off day. So here, take a look at this, Schass. They decided they needed to practice a little head first sliding.
Screen sharing connoisseur, David Kahn,
yes.
right here.
Here's how they practice head first sliding. All right, take a look at this. Here they are at a water facility, and they are just sliding down a rock head first. The entire UTRGV Vaqueros baseball team sliding down the rock, having a grand old time practicing head first sliding. How about that?
That's pretty sweet. That's cool. That reminds me of what the Bears did on Hard Knocks. They did the slip and slide, though, last year that HBO and Max had documented with Hard Knocks with Chicago Bears, which, they got TKO'd, they got cursed by it. But hey, 17-0 year coming up with Ben Johnson. The draft is next week, and I'm not even going to be on the show, because I'm going to Disney World next week. So not only am I going to Pittsburgh for a night on Friday night, then I got to recover, get ready to hit the road overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday morning to Disney World. So we hope to have the lock doctor.
He's locked in.
Trip Hurd. He is locked in. He's going to do a show with you later in the week. You can talk draft. You can make some baseball comps. The metaphors will be endless, I'm sure. But Trip Hurd, my co-host of the Phil Steele Show in the fall, will join David Kahn for the second podcast next week. My SDA, Ken Griffey Jr., just all the photos that he was distributing, being a credentialed photog at the Masters. Amazing photographs. My favorite baseball player of all time. All the posters, all the memorabilia, all of the gear, the apparel, me mimicking a swing, even though I was right-handed. All of those things. Just love all of the video games. To be able to see Ken Griffey Jr. still be the kid and still chase down something that he wanted to, he wanted to check a box and cover an event like the Masters, because I know photography has been a passion of his, and for him to get there and take the incredible images that he did, to see those circulate social media. He got one of Rory McIlroy dropping to his knees with his forearms on the green in celebration after. That was just tremendous. So good on my boy, Ken Griffey Jr. That is my social display of affection. Dave Van Horn keeps winning, Kahn.
Yeah, Dave Van Horn keeps winning, 1,500 and counting for the Arkansas skipper. So got to give a hat tip to DVH, right? I mean, we've spotlighted Arkansas plenty on this show, and we'll continue to spotlight them as they are now the number 2 team in the country after dropping the series to Georgia over the weekend. We're at Texas now, you're number 1, but DVH for the win in the opener against Georgia, his 1,500th career victory as a head coach, not just at Arkansas, overall as a head coach. So hat tip to DVH.
I have a few other teams I want to hat tip real quick, then we'll talk about the slate here in the midweek, and we'll get out of here. Lamar, Southland Conference, not leaders. That's McNeese State, but Lamar just a couple of games back. Lamar has won 15 out of 16 games overall, including a 5-4 win in 10 innings against Nichols Friday, where they rallied from a 4-run deficit in the 9th. That was to win 9-8 in game 2. So they win the opener by 1 run. And then they come back from 4 down in the 9th to win 9-8 game 2, take the series. And then in a 7-inning affair, a run rule, they win 16-5 over Nichols. 15 of 16 for Lamar. How about 16 of 18 for St. John's, your Big East leaders? The Johnnies started the year 0-7 and 1-10. They won 1 game in their first 11. Since then, they've won 16 out of 18. They are 18-13 overall, 6-0. They lead the Big East. They are unblemished in league play. And one more for you. I've already brought them up. Louisiana Tech. You're probably going to chuckle on this one. Haven't lost a CUSA series. But Trey, this past weekend, they took 2 out of 3 from NTSU. There's one guy in particular I want to tip the cap to, and that's Sebastian Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico, as it is still referred to. in Ruston,
Correct.
Louisiana. Over the last 10, I got a Golf of America tank that just got mailed to me from Amazon that I'm going to wear at Disney World next week. 16 of 43, Sebastian Mexico over his last 10 games. He had a walk-off home run against FIU 2 Fridays ago. But then he also capped off what was an incredible comeback for Louisiana Tech in the 9th inning where they scored 7 runs. They had a 7-run 9th inning Saturday in a 10-8 win over Middle Tennessee State. And he had a 3-run blast to help lift them ahead. He's got 4 home runs. He's got 18 RBIs and 16 hits over his last 43 at-bats over the last 10 games. So Louisiana Tech is turning into quite the show in Conference USA. Again, they have Western Kentucky coming up in a few weeks. This weekend, they have Liberty. They have the Dallas Bombers coming up, DBU. Also, they get a guy, Trey Housey, a freshman, 2 opposite field home runs, Oppo Tacos in the win on Friday. And Luke Cooley has a no-hitter in 8 innings a few weeks ago, 135 pitches, no hits, did walk 2. So things are coming together for Lane Burroughs and Louisiana Tech. The floor is now yours, Kahn, to set the table for the midweek.
All right, so tonight, Tuesday, as you're listening to this pod, the day it comes out, we have a ton of really tasty action. I'm going to rip through them all, rip it off like a Band-Aid, Shass, and then you tell me the top 2 that you're looking forward to following tonight as you crack open a tasty beverage and relax on your couch in parts unknown, North Carolina. Yes. And I won't reveal where you live, even though I do know. But anyways, we have the top-rated team, Texas Longhorns, taking on the team that just practiced headfirst sliding off a sliding rock, UTRGV in Austin. That's the starter. Then you have clean old-fashioned Diamond Hate, number 5 Georgia, number 14 Georgia Tech. You got 6th-rated Oregon State at number 10 UCLA. You have number 9 LSU taking on the Southland leaders in McNeese. You have Western Kentucky on the road at number 17 Louisville. Number 21 Coastal Carolina is in our backyard. They're taking on the Demon Deacons tonight, who we mentioned got torched over the weekend by North Carolina. You have number 22 Arizona and Grand Canyon. 23rd rated Southern Miss at Southeastern Louisiana. And number 25 TCU, second place in the Big 12, right behind West Virginia, taking on Dallas Baptist. What's your top 2 selections for the midweek? Do you have any locks for the midweek?
Oh, my lock.
You don't have to have one. Only if you're feeling it. I'm not going to force you.
I mean, a lock, but I don't think I'm really going out on a limb here. I'll take Southern Miss over Southeastern Louisiana.
All right.
No disrespect
sure.
to Sela.
Week 10 midweek, Southern Miss over Sela. All right, we'll see. You're currently 3-2 on surefire locks this season. You are 3-1 in your last 4 though. So you had Florida beating FSU in a midweek, Wake Forest win series at FSU. Those are your latest 2 wins. Before that, UT Rio Grande Valley let you down against Southern Miss in a midweek. So now you're flipping the script. You're going with the Golden Eagles to get a midweek victory over Sela. We'll see if you can improve to 4-2.
Give me one more. Give me one more.
One more.
Western Kentucky. All the Western Kentucky love that we had here for Mark Rardin and the Tops. 31-5. They go to 32-5 after a win at Louisville here on Tuesday night. The other 2 games that I'm really excited about would be UCLA hosting Oregon State, 6-10 matchup, old Pac-12 players. Of course, Oregon State an independent this year. UCLA leading the Big Ten and at 12-3, took 2 out of 3 after dropping the opener against Washington this past weekend. And then Georgia and Georgia Tech. I'm not going to give you a winner. I don't want to TKO the vibes with Danny Hall when we have him on the program.
We didn't TKO Cal Poly. They won the series.
We did not. Much like UCLA dropping game 1 against Washington, winning the next 2. Cal Poly dropped the first game on Friday to Hawaii, but then came back and won that series, including the next 2 games. So still a tremendous start for them in league play, what would be 14-1 at this point through 5 weeks in the Big West. Our thanks again to Larry Lee for coming on the program last week. But Georgia and Georgia Tech. Georgia leads all time, 219, 168, and 2. Georgia Tech has been the biggest riser in the polls over the last couple of weeks. Most potent offense in the P4. Yellow Jackets lead in batting average, hits, doubles, OBP, runs per 9. Georgia Tech, the only ACC team, and 1 of 5 among Power 4 in the top 25, both runs per game and ERA. The other 4, Arkansas, Tennessee, LSU, and David, West Virginia. That's top 25 in runs per 9 and ERA. Georgia Tech, Arkansas, and Tennessee, LSU, and West Virginia. Georgia leads the country in home runs with 98. Will this be the last time that Danny Hall faces the Georgia Bulldogs? Here's a surefire lock for you. It won't be. I think those two are going to meet in the postseason.
Regional, yes.
Yeah.
It could happen. It happened last year.
Yeah, book that. All right, we're getting out of here. Kyle Schassburger, David Kahn, thank you. Follow the show on YouTube, Dumbbells Dingers, wherever your podcast is. David Kahn.